All right, guys, so we're going to focus on this video today about you deserve the very best and how do you reinforce that self-concept in manifesting anything you want, especially when it comes to a specific person, because most of you are scared. You're scared you're going to lose this person. You're scared if you set a boundary or if you don't engage with them somehow, some way, even when they're showing up the shitty version still, that you're still going to miss out. You're going to lose because they're so much better than you and they're going to pick someone else. So fuck all that. We're going to nip all this shit in the bud and we're going to talk about how to really reinforce that you deserve the very best and you will never accept less. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. Hey everyone, it's Kim Velez, Conscious Life and Success Coach. And before we dive into this amazing video today, I want to remind you that if you have not downloaded my free video called The Number One Reason Why You Haven't Manifested Your Specific Person Back, link is below. I've never posted on social media, nor will it ever be. So this is just a more in-depth video explaining like the number one thing that I know I went through when I was manifesting and really understanding law of assumption and everyone as you pushed out with my specific person, as well as the thousands of beautiful souls that I have had the privilege to interact with and work with as a coach. So also, if you're interested in my monthly coaching group for reinforcement, the link is below too. We meet on Zoom. It's super fun. It's every month and you get access to all the recorded past Zooms. So you just have this information or this powerhouse packed full of information that you can rewatch at your leisure and just really get all your questions answered, because everybody asks the most amazing questions in these monthly groups. Link is below if you want to learn more about that too. So let's talk about this. Why we focus on self-concept so much, because I know for me it was a game changer. It wasn't talked about hardly at all by the majority of the coaches like it is now, and it was so fucking critical and eye-opening for me. And this is why my heart and passion is in it, and this is why I started sharing my experience about reinforcing my self-concept about a year and a half or so ago. So when we're looking at really understanding that you deserve the very best, it's just that. It's reinforcing these thoughts and affirmations and perspectives and ideas of who you want to be. That you want to be this secure, confident person who knows their worth and value and deserves the very best from the people in their life, because you give the very best, right? We're not going to do this shit anymore where the old self-concept was like, I'm going to give everybody else the very best of me, but then we had the shitty story that said I'm not worthy to receive that in return. So we're flipping all of that, right? And that's what the reprogramming of the mind is, so that you can build yourself into believing and knowing this is your truth, that this is factual for who you are. And the way to get there is through the reprogramming. So when we're manifesting things in our reality that we deem as better than us, more important than us, or they hold, or it, they, them, whatever, it holds some kind of significance that we perceive as, I'm probably chopping up my words here, forgive me, I'm tired, I haven't had enough coffee yet. So we're like perceiving that they have more value, this experience or this person has more value than we do, right? And we really want to be careful with that, because that is when they're on the pedestal, right? That's when our self-concept's still really low and we're giving up our power by believing something, an experience, a person, a thing that we want to manifest is like, the answer, the end all be all, and is the only thing that can make us feel a certain way. And we know that's not true. So you have to be aware and understand what is going on with me internally, because that's where you're creating all of this. So when you're manifesting money, a career, I've had this in the past where I wanted something so bad, and I was like, oh my God, I have to get this job. Like if I didn't get this certain career or this certain company or whatever, like you would feel like a failure, like you put this company on this pedestal, right? Why? Because that would determine how we're wanted and valued. Well, we do this with specific persons too, that they need to come in and tell me X, Y, and Z so I know I'm worthy. Fuck that. We're done with that story. You are worthy and you deserve the very best. And you got to reinforce that and think those thoughts and say them to yourself over and over and over and over until you actually convince yourself that that is actually true for you. And when you do that, you become so empowered. You really will be able to then let go of your old story, the old story you had with a specific person, and the old fucking reality that held in place in your 3D experience all the limiting beliefs, all the shitty assumptions you had about yourself and this person and love and money, job, whatever the fuck it is. It will no longer be in your infrastructure out here, because so within, so without. So when you do that, you become so empowered, because then you remember, like, duh, yeah, I do deserve the very best. I do give the best, and I deserve to have it fucking reciprocated. And I don't have to accept less than that. So what does that mean when you're recreating a specific person? Because that is one of the, I don't want to put a limiting belief on anyone. I know for me personally, it's been one of the hardest things to do, because we have such a history with a person that we have to basically erase. And when they keep manifesting in front of us over and over and over and over, your brain keeps judging them and assuming, oh, they're still this, they're still that, they're still this. Like, we're expecting the worst of them because that's what you've known them to be dominantly, right? So again, you know, that's a whole nother video, but that's where, when you reinforce the self-concept, you understand, you know your worth and value, you know you deserve the very best. So then it's easier for you to detach from that story of them and to really focus on your experience that you're manifesting, that you want in your love life, and that this is how they will show up one day. We just don't know when. And you got to be okay with that. And when you reinforce your amazing self-concept, when you really like drive in and ground yourself more every single day, you keep shifting internally. Like, I do so much self-concept on myself still. Obviously, if I'm saying self-concept, right? But I do so much work on myself still. Like, I haven't stopped. I don't stop, because I love the way I feel about myself. I love the way when I'm triggered with things, how they no longer trigger me, or just how I keep detaching from the old version, the old story, the old way I saw my specific person, the old way of looking at life and certain things. And I even saw areas where I still was settling, even though it wasn't like big settling, it still was settling in certain areas, because the old self-concept was satisfied with, well, I'll accept that until something, you know, I get the actually what I want. And so kind of looking at that, and listen, this can be with a specific person, this can be with a dream car that you want, this can be with, again, your dream job, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. It's understanding that we don't have to settle. It's understanding that when you reinforce your fucking worth and value and what you want to experience in your job, with your lifestyle, with money, with your friends, with, you know, how you're living your life, where you're living, the neighborhood you're in, what you're doing every single day, who you're surrounded with, and who you are in a relationship with, you do not have to fucking settle. Your specific person will conform, and you don't have to really deal with the middle version of them. If you want to, that's your prerogative, but be careful when you are, because a lot of you are still trying to affirm to control outside of you rather than change inside of you. A lot of you are still having your specific person on a pedestal and really just accepting the bare minimum because you're okay with that, and you're too scared to turn your back to this part of the reality, which is still the middle and the old story that isn't serving you, and knowing I will get what I want, and being okay with releasing that old version. So again, everyone's different. Everybody's on a different like part of their journey and path. I'm just highlighting some key points that can really help you, and you can, you know, check yourself and see, is this me? If it is, then you can correct it and start manifesting in more of what it is that you want. Because when you really look at, I do deserve the very best, and you actually know that and believe that, then you won't accept anything less. You won't accept less pay. You won't accept less fulfillment in your life. You won't accept less things. You will affirm and persist in the story of the end of what you actually want. And that's what I mean when I say, like, you let go of the middle version, you let go of really the old reality, is that you're not settling for mediocre. You're just like, no, this person will conform. This is what I want. I'm not saying that you cut somebody out because when they come back in, they're being amazing and they're fulfilling and you see it progressing, right? But because they haven't asked you to marry them in a day, you're like, fuck you, I'm cutting you out until you come back, correct? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this, is when you're in this process, and let's say with a specific person, they're still the old, shitty, toxic, unhealthy, whatever fucking version that's a straight up dick that is not what you want. You don't got to deal with that one. That one hasn't caught up yet, right? So that's what I'm saying, that you don't have to deal with that. If you're being offered jobs, if you're out there job searching and you're getting in jobs where it isn't what you want, it's not moving you in the direction that you want, you don't have to accept it. You persist in your reality that this is what I want to manifest. And this is what we do. This is how powerful you are. You have to get bigger than your old self-concept allowed you to think that you could manifest. You have to get bigger and understand, if I am the version that deserves the very best, then is this in support of that? So we do these things really easily and subtly. Like it could be, we're pausing our lives, like we're not taking vacations and experiences that we want to do, and other people are out there living their life and we're like, when is this going to happen for me? Well, why aren't you manifesting it? Why aren't you booking things? Really look at this. Why aren't you putting it together? Why aren't you reaching out to friends? Why aren't you, creating the reality where they're coming to you and saying, hey, let's go on vacation. I'm so excited for this. I don't know, whatever it is you want, right? And this is why you persist until it hardens in effect, because you do deserve the very best. And the more you reinforce that concept, it will keep manifesting for you. And you just persist in that and you live in that and you know that to be your truth. And it's so magnetic. This is an affirmation you could say too, by the way, is like you're so powerfully magnetic to your desires. Your desires are constantly chasing you and vigorously pursuing you, right? Because of how magnetic and irresistible you are to what you want, your desires. And you persist in that story, trusting and knowing at one day it'll be. So we do this with money too, right? Like, we could settle and just say, okay, I'm good with this certain salary, but why aren't you going bigger? Because if you're not going bigger, knowing at some point you can manifest this experience, then you're not believing you deserve the very best. That's not even on your radar because of where you're at. If you are settling in a job or in a life that isn't what is fulfilling for you or really what you want, then why is that? Because you don't think and know that you deserve the very best. So you're settling. This is what we do. We do it all the time. I almost did it too with, something in my life that is something that I want to manifest. It's something that's been a dream for me for a while now. And I was like rationalizing and justifying, well, I don't have to get that this year. I can just wait. I can settle and get something else. Now, the other thing I was going to get is fucking amazing. But I'm like, I don't have to. Why do I have to? Why am I not trusting and knowing and persisting that I can get what it is that I actually want now rather than 2 or 3 years from now? So it's just kind of trusting in that and persisting in that reality and that believability that you are the operant power of your reality, that what you want wants you, that you deserve the very best, you can have the very best. See, then you're not scared. You don't have these things on a pedestal. You're able to say, this will be mine, or this is mine, however you want to word it. I have everything that I want, and it's not on a pedestal. You're giving yourself the experience of the version of you that knows they deserve the very best and believes and trusts that they will have the very best, and they are manifesting and creating the reality where that is what they're receiving is the very best from a specific person, from your job, from your friends, from the dream car you want, whatever it is, your house, where you want to live, I don't know, whatever you're trying to manifest in your reality. And you're not settling. You're not accepting the bare minimum. You're not okay with mediocre. I always say that word wrong. You're not okay with like bullshit and things that aren't fulfilling. And you're really keeping your eye on the prize, because you are the prize and you're worth living the life of your dreams. But you have to keep cultivating that version of you over and over again to really buy into the fact that you're worthy of living the life of your dreams. You can have anything and anyone that you want, and you will get the best version of them. And you don't have to settle for the shit version if you don't want to of anything and experience a person. It doesn't matter. You can turn your back, to the circumstances that are otherwise and focus on the reality you want, because you do deserve the very best and you don't have to settle for anything less. Go out there and manifest what it is that you want, guys. You have one life. I can't manifest it for you. Now, in my reality, I can say, oh, this person gets X, Y, and Z and do that. So in my reality, you come to me and say that to me, but what are you doing in your reality? Because you're the creator of your reality. What's the attention and awareness in your mind? Where's the focus going in your mind? What are your beliefs in your mind? What are your assumptions? What are your thoughts? Because this is what you're experiencing. I'm only in control of what I'm experiencing. So you need to worry and only be concerned with what's going on in your beautiful brain, and then focusing on you being the version that is reinforcing, I deserve the very best and nothing less. And I always get just that. So have fun with this, go big, stop settling, and let's start manifesting the life of your dreams. All right, I'll see you soon.